You wake up on a Tuesday. Nothing dramatic, just a Tuesday. But something in your chest feels different about money now. You can't quite explain it. Yesterday you bought coffee without thinking. Today, you hesitated. Not because you can't afford it, because something in you finally started counting. Welcome to the quiet shift nobody warned you about. The moment you hit 32, the math of your life changes underneath you. Not loudly, not all at once, but it changes. For years, money felt like a stream. It came in, it went out, and you trusted there would always be more later. Later was a real place. Then somewhere around 32, later stopped feeling infinite. It became a calendar, a number, a countdown nobody handed you. Most men don't notice the shift the day it happens. They notice it weeks after, in small moments. A grocery total, a friend's new house, a 401k statement. The trap at 32 is not spending too much. It is still spending like the version of you who had 30 more years of runway than you actually do. Because here's the quiet math. From 18 to 32, you had 14 years of starting. From 32 to retirement, you have about 30. That sounds like a lot. It isn't. Not when compounding needs decades, not years. Not when every dollar you don't invest at 32 is roughly $10 you won't have at 65. This is the part nobody tells you. The cost of waiting doesn't show up in your account. It shows up in the version of yourself you'll meet at 55, doing math you didn't want to do. 32 is the age your money decisions stop being about lifestyle and start being about identity. Who do you want to be in 20 years? That answer is now expensive. The first thing that changes is your relationship with time. In your 20s, time was something you spent. Now, time is something your money either uses or wastes. $1,000 at 22 had 43 years to grow. $1,000 at 32 has 33. That 10-year gap is not small. It's roughly half the final number. The second thing that changes is your relationship with peers. You start noticing who pulled ahead, who's still drifting, and worst of all, you start measuring yourself against both. This is the social comparison trap, and it sharpens at 32. You see one friend buying a second home, another still renting. You don't know which one you are anymore. The truth is, you can't see anyone's balance sheet. You only see their lifestyle. And lifestyle is the worst possible signal of actual wealth. The man with the new truck might owe $70,000 on it. The man in the old sedan might have $400,000 invested. You're comparing surfaces to substance. At 32, you start confusing visibility with security. The visible life looks like wealth. The invisible life, the one quietly compounding, is the one that actually is. The third thing that changes is your tolerance for waste. You start feeling the weight of small leaks, the subscriptions, the takeout, the upgrades you didn't think about. It's not that those things became wrong. It's that your future self started showing up at the table, and he's watching every transaction now. Healthy awareness at 32 looks like asking what each dollar buys you in actual life. The trap version looks like guilt over every coffee while ignoring the $1,000 leaks. The real leaks at this age are not lattes. They are the unrenegotiated car loan, the forgotten 401k allocation sitting in a money market, the lifestyle creep that followed your last raise. Lifestyle creep is the silent thief of 30-something men. You earn more, so you spend more, and your savings rate stays exactly where it was at 26. The raise disappears. Most men assume earning more solves money problems. It doesn't. Earning more without changing your savings rate just builds a more expensive prison around the same anxiety. Here's an advanced nuance most people miss. Your savings rate matters more than your investment returns until your portfolio is roughly 10 times your annual expenses. Before that, behavior wins. That means at 32, you're still in the behavior phase. Picking the perfect index fund matters less than whether you're putting 15, 20, 25% away consistently. And yet, most men at this age obsess over what to buy and ignore how much they're saving. They tune the engine while ignoring the hole in the gas tank. The force shift at 32 is emotional. You stop fantasizing about getting rich and start fearing being old and broke. That fear is not weakness, it's information. Your nervous system is doing the math your spreadsheet hasn't done yet. The quiet anxiety you feel checking your accounts is your body telling you the runway looks shorter than it did. The wound underneath all of this is the same for almost every man at this age. The fear of having started too late, even though you haven't. Let me say that again, because it matters. You haven't started too late. You've just stopped being able to pretend you have unlimited time. Pause for a second. I want to hear from you on this one. If you're watching this, somewhere around your 30s or 40s, I want you to drop a comment and tell me where you actually are. Not where you think you should be, not the polished version, the honest one. Are you ahead of where you expected, behind? Quietly worried, quietly proud, somewhere in between? Your answer might be the exact thing another man scrolling through these comments needed to read tonight. Money is lonely until somebody else admits the same thing out loud. Okay, back to it. The fifth thing that changes at 32 is your tolerance for risk. You start asking different questions about money. Not how much can I make, but how much can I lose and recover from? This is healthy. The trap is letting that fear push you too conservative too early. A 32-year-old in bonds is a 60-year-old in regret. You still have roughly 30 years of growth ahead. Equity exposure at this age is not gambling. It's gravity. The longer your horizon, the more risk actually protects you from inflation. The sixth thing that changes is your relationship with debt. The debt you carried at 25 felt like a season. The debt you carry at 32 starts feeling like a structure. Healthy debt at this age has a purpose and an exit date. Trap debt is debt that funds your identity, a truck you can't afford, a house you stretched for, a lifestyle borrowed against future you. The difference is brutal but simple. Healthy debt builds an asset or a skill. Trap debt builds an image. One pays you back, the other charges you forever. The seventh thing that changes is the way you think about your job. In your 20s, your job was income. At 32, your job is also leverage, time, and identity all tangled together. You start asking whether the place that pays you is also draining the version of you that could earn more elsewhere. That question is uncomfortable. It's also one of the most valuable questions of the decade. The eighth shift is about partnership. If you have one, money stops being separate and starts being shared physics. Two people pulling different directions at 32 can undo a decade of progress by 42. Most couples don't fight about money. They avoid it. They run parallel financial lives under one roof and call it harmony. It isn't. It's just unspoken. A single honest money conversation at 32 is worth more than 10 financial books at 45. Not because of strategy, because of alignment. The ninth shift is the one almost nobody talks about. At 32, you start grieving the versions of yourself you didn't choose. The job you didn't take, the city you didn't move to, the business you didn't start. Money becomes the receipt of all those quiet decisions. Some men respond to this grief by overspending, trying to buy back the life they imagined. Others respond by hoarding, trying to control what they already lost. Both are the same wound. The healthy response is neither. It's choosing the next version of yourself, deliberately, with the resources you actually have, not the ones you wish you had. 32 is not a deadline. It is a hinge. The decade between 32 and 42 will compound harder than any other decade of your financial life. Here's why. The dollars you invest at 32 have roughly 33 years to grow. The dollars you invest at 42 have 23. That 10-year gap is roughly double the final outcome. Most men think their 50s will be the heavy lifting years. They won't. By your 50s, the math is mostly already decided. The 30s are where the decision actually gets made. And yet the 30s are when life is loudest. Career pressure, relationship pressure, maybe kids, maybe aging parents. Money feels like the last thing you have bandwidth for. That's exactly why the trap works. It hides inside the noise. By the time the noise quiets, the decade is gone, and the compounding window narrowed without your permission. The advanced move at this age is not picking the right investment. It's automating the decision so your future self stops depending on your present self's willpower. Willpower is the most overrated financial tool ever invented. Set the savings rate. Automate the transfer. Increase it with every raise. Then live on what's left without apology. That single behavior repeated for 10 years outperforms almost every clever strategy. You will be tempted to wait until you have more. You won't. The version of you with more income will also have more obligations. The right amount of money to start with is whatever you have today. Here's the part that might land hardest. The man you'll be at 55 is being built right now by the man you are at 32. Not by his intentions, by his defaults. Your defaults are your destiny. What gets automatically saved? what gets automatically spent, what gets automatically avoided. Those three things, repeated, become a life. If this video gave you something to sit with, even one honest moment, do me a small favor. Hit the like button. It tells the algorithm to show this to another man who needed it tonight. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell if you want more of these. We go slow. We go honest. We don't sell you anything except a clearer view of your own money. And drop a comment with the one shift in this video that hit hardest. Maybe it was the lifestyle creep part, maybe the grief part, maybe the conversation you've been avoiding with your partner. Whatever it was, name it. Saying it out loud, even in a comment box, has a strange way of starting something, and someone scrolling through will see your words and feel less alone. Thank you for sitting with this one. Most men your age won't. The fact that you watched a video about money psychology instead of distracting yourself is already the inner work paying off. The next video on this channel goes deeper into the exact decade ahead of you. We break down what the average man does between 35 and 45, and why so many of them end up exactly where they didn't want to be. You'll see it on screen in a second. Watch it next, while the honesty is still warm. The man you want to be in 20 years is built one quiet decision at a time, and the next one is waiting for you.